Namaste, beloved community. Welcome to Shri and Kira Live. I am wisdom teacher Shri Ramkar.
And I am Master Lady Kira Ra. And, I want you to just connect. If you're watching the show right now, if you're live with us at YouTube or Oneness Talk Radio or any of the other amazing places that carry the show, check out the spiral. This is that spiral ignition over our beautiful compadres mountains here at Tosa Blue Mountain, Ecuador. And the reason I'm saying yesterday is that we have arrived at a moment right now that is so profound, so extraordinary, so beauty filled that let's just first bring our hands together and say thank you. Thank you, beloved universe. There are 7 billion people on the planet, and whenever you are catching this show, you're one of the ones that found this moment. It's a moment of divine ignition. It is a moment of glorious, brilliant illumination. It is the moment of I am as you are, and the week ahead I'm already losing my breath, and it's that good kind of loss. And that's why for those of you that were here early waiting for us, we did have up. Shri, let's put that slide up again before we go any further. Right now, this minute, I want you to go to shriandkira.com and get yourself in. Be here. What's happening this Wednesday is so important. This is the first official time that Shri and I are sharing the secrets and the hidden mysteries of how to ignite the law of instantaneous manifestation. And for those of you that know Shri and I, you know that we were not going to be engaging this year in this way with any students outside of those that are in our divine mastery. And the universe has said, no, it is the moment, it is the time for ascended abundance for all. It is our gift to you. Please be there. This is a mastery presence up-level moment for all and not just this timeline. So from our heart to your heart, Jess, I want to thank her. Jess, thank you. A couple days ago, she started a 10-person challenge. How many people can you let know about this event? How quickly can we hit a minimum of 1,000 people in this event? When 1,000 beings come together, miracles happen. And so this has ignited, and that's why I was saying yesterday, that's why I tongue slipped earlier, because this happened yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's and never doubt the reflective potency of people with sincere hearts coming together.
Yes.
When we gather in sincerity, in love, and in presence, we ignite the abundant flow that is the essence of the law of instantaneous manifestation. Your abundance resides in the trust of the universe. And we're here to help you anchor that, not just wish it, but anchor it.
To know it. I want you to really feel that in, right? A simple little gesture that helps ignite us through this moment right now. Let us just offer you a gift right now, okay? Here it is. So first, clear those hands, clear everything, be here now. But let's come together. You might notice I'm kind of sparkly today, and wow, why is Kira wearing long sleeves? I'll tell you why about that in a moment.
She is
But
sparkly.
the reason, as is Shri, the reason that we are in this crystalline expression is because of the fullness of the totality of the portals that have opened, the energy that is pouring in and yours to command. So the first way you do that is through that knowing, that remembrance, and the gift that you can give yourself right now always begins with one Ave Sa breath. So let's just begin with our hands to our heart. Remember, we breathe an Ave in through the nose, exhale the Sa. If you don't know what that is, go look it up or to ask somebody online. But let's go in. And then we smile. We always smile. No matter what breath technique you use, no matter what you work with, when you exhale with a smile, it is a conscious up level. It sends a subliminal message to the body of form that is freaking out over all the things that are happening, that is absolutely in fear. And it says, hey, I'm here, right? So it's not just about the intensity of deep breathing and the seriousity of deep breathing and all of those beautiful gifts it gives you. It's also about lightening up and realizing that more happens with joy when it's coupled with integrity. There's the secret, right? So when you can couple that joy and harness that, then every breath, and especially the gift of Avesa, right, becomes the gift of the open hand. And when we give with an open hand, the universe fills it abundantly. And right now, those open hands, check that out. Here, Sri, put your hand under mine. Let's do this together. Oh, are we having fun? Right? Feel that, right? All right, yeah, really. Let's feel that. But that only comes when we give from an open hand. And giving is not just about the density experience of finance. That's a given, right? That's just a given. If you're giving with an open hand, you're always going to have plenty. That's just a given. What it's about is giving with an open hand means that the ego presence has walked through the gateway that first ignites with an Avesa breath, then comes together at our heart. I want you to bring your hands, what I call prayer position. And you want to try, you see how I'm at really holding at the high heart. And one way you can do that is to use your thumbs. It's like, okay, where's my high heart? Where's that point on my chest right here? That would be about my high heart. So you can learn it as Shri's demo. Shri, why don't you demo? Yeah. So he's putting his thumbs. So you put your thumbs right out. Where's my high heart? Then bring those hands back together. It's just to get position, but you want to hold the elbows up. This is really important. And if this is painful, if you can't hold this and hold the arms out more, you want to hold the arms out about 6 inches. I'm going to demonstrate on Shri. You want to sit with your back up as straight as you can. This is important.
Yeah.
You want to sit with your back up as straight as you can, and you want to have those arms at almost a 90 degree. You see how he's doing that? Thumbs are now back together. We only use them. So it's very much, and then you want to relax. You see how stiff and uncomfortable he looks. This is because it should not be an effort. If this is hard to do, then you need to be practicing. So here's how you make it even easier, is you begin where you're comfortable. So this is where we want to go, and then Sri, show where you're comfortable. And start where you're honestly comfortable. You don't want to have any strain. You don't want to be feeling like you're holding that. This is a not a and then, wow, does it clear your throat? I'm going to need water, guys. Feel your throats. If you need to relax and take a sip of water, wow.
But relax into the posture. Let that become natural.
Zero stress. If you see stress in the neck, if you feel stress, relax. This is not about doing it technically perfect. It's about arriving there at some point. But it's also about being, if your way of is doing it this way, if this is more comfortable for you, then just start working it. Just start, just start playing with it, right? Exactly. See, just have fun. And if you're able to, right here. And you see how my nose, you see the tips of my fingers and my nose? That's how I know I'm at high heart with the arms right there. This is the eye. Holding this posture with the spine as straight as possible. You can do it standing, sitting, half sitting, however you're comfortable. But the spine is inviting, this posture invites the ascended Kundalini to rise. And so remember, it's not about the Kundalini of the planet. I mean, that's easy, right? We've been there, done that. And if you haven't, don't worry about it. Because honestly, right now, once your ascended Kundalini kicks in, it's like, whoa. And so when the ascended Kundalini begins, it arises here. This is the eye. And then I'm going to turn sideways so you can see it. Shri will do it head on. No, you stay right where you were, baby. I want them to see you from that aspect.
That's fine.
I'm just going to do it from the side. So here we are. This is the eye. We turn the hands, am. And you want to keep your hands straight.
Right. I was just showing.
I'm just showing. That's why I turned.
Yeah.
So I could do that, but I wanted them to see it straight on too.
Yeah.
There we are. So I am. See the wings? It's an ignition. All right. You ready? Because we're going to do it. Here we are. I'm going to do the last posture, then we'll go do the whole thing together. Because it's really important to learn this right now, every day this week. I am. And then just with the thumb and the first finger, we grab the wrists here. And what we've done, I'm going to dip down. You see that? This is why the arms need to be out. What we've done is ignited the sea of neutrality, held at the energy of the high heart, that literally this is like a liquid receptor. It's a mirror. And so this is really important to understand, because I am here holds open the mirror of the sea of neutrality. which means as we remain in our divine galactic blueprint of ascended presence, as the 12 chakras of the ascended presence are ignited, we become rooted here. I am here. I am here. This is not the ancient I am declarations, I am here. All of the beautiful work brought in by Godfrey Ray King and all of that beautiful work is a primer compared to where we are now. So I need you to breathe that in. And that's why the Ascended Masters have just been so clear that the Saint Germain itself is here now to up-level the miracle presence so that all of the other books unlock as keys. And we have already been working with some of those books, as you all know. This is important because it cannot be understood from mind of the ego that wants the dogma to never change. So breathe that in.
Yeah.
I am here is also a steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and signal of complete trust to the universe of the presence of the sea of neutrality, which sustains seventh dimensional connectivity and lack of judgment, thereby can hold open the portal for all. Never doubt how important you are.
Very, very.
Right?
You know, and one of the things, and thank you for sharing that, because what you guys have all got this heads up, you know, you can practice this because on the
Every day this week.
on the 27th, we're going to be going further with this. However, as you practice the ability to radiate out that peace and be in the sea of neutrality,
Right.
you're going to help stabilize everyone around you in a good way. You're moving them in the direction of their highest potential.
Sacred sequence of incarnation awareness. So what's going to happen this Wednesday? Well, it begins with what's happening right now, right? So let's show you the up-level calendar because, wow. Shri, why don't you remind us what's going on?
That's it. The second harmonic expands all as we effortlessly call forward the sacred union of the body with the conscious awareness of our divine mastery presence. The sustaining experience of energy, momentum, and co-creative power illuminates our lives continually. Take in a breath. We just are still feeling the effects of that amazing full moon, that full heart moon that came forward on the 16th. And bringing us through the opening of Wednesday, the 20th. And I know many of you, if you reflect back to last Wednesday, you're going to discover, wait a minute, there was a fulcrum point, a pivotal opening.
There's that
happened.
truth again, right? Go ahead. No, my gosh, I'm feeling all of you. Go ahead.
And so on the every Wednesday of this month has been powerful, and this is why on the 27th we're continuing the expansion of that opening. But beloved ones, as we come forward right now, here we are at the 24th, and take a look on the calendar of what's happening in the coming week.
Well, you know, I want to ask, and guys, I'm sitting here, I kid you not, like I have tears in my eyes. My throat chakra is clearing. Matter of fact, here, I've got to come back live. We'll come back here in no, I went to the wrong one. Well, actually, maybe I didn't. Okay, this is why we're talking about the 27th. So you've got to be there. This is why we just taught you the I am here as the sea of neutrality. Because right now, in this moment, I think the reason that, I'm literally crying and as Shri was reading and showing you the calendar and like, I need a tissue, forgive me. I should probably put up another slide right now. Honestly, forgive me. We're at such a profound moment. And you know, here's the irony of this moment, right? When we finally, and I've had this happen with so many people lately that Shri and I are so blessed that after 20 years of 24/7 continuous public service, you guys know the road that we have held, the lack of compromise when it came to integrity and the purity of the message. And in this moment right now, as we are here together in this crystalline presence, Shri and I are just humbled because all your dreams are ready to come true. And we have been interfacing with people, and the law of instantaneous manifestation has literally become that which I am here to be. And the way things are coming together. And remember that when things come together, it does mean some things are dissolving. It's about staying in that seventh dimensional sea of neutrality, that to allow that which has served or is completed to serve as it must now be called. Because to honestly own and anchor, as I am here now, the full mastery of the yoga of self-ascension, one must walk the walk with every breath, with every thought, with every being. And in this moment right now, the people that Shri and I have been interacting with are going into hyperdrive success or hyperdrive jumping back in,
Yeah.
because you are at that moment. And so I want to remind you of one thing. If you have not reread our very first book, still in print, and like it's, I don't know, 10th printing, 17 years later, right? Or 11, I don't know, however many years later, no, 20 years later,
Yeah.
2003.
Yeah.
Go back and read Sacred Union, The Journey Home, and read the first few paragraphs about, we know exactly what you're feeling, what it is to go, oh my God, all my dreams are in front of me. And in that moment, when you got to really walk the walk, even if you have to white knuckle it, the only gift that you can give yourself is to know you're ready.
Yes.
And you won't know you're ready until you're stepping out in territory you've never been in before. Otherwise, you're just lying to yourself. And that's cool if you need to. Sometimes we need to repeat a cycle. And I know Shri and I did many times before we finally had the blessing of coming together. And even we are in the beginning of a new cycle, as that calendar is showing us right.
You know, it's amazing to me.
I'm still crying because I'm so happy for you. I really am.
One of the glorious benefits of having my eyes open for so many years is the ever refining discernments that come
Yes.
through. We begin to appreciate all of life for the lessons it offers. And one of the things that I can share with you at this moment, as Kira was talking about the law of instantaneous manifestation, what if everything was in front of you?
This Wednesday.
We are in an acceleration moment. Now, to the ego, to the extent that it is governing your experience, and it's usually more than you're aware of, okay, it's very, very sneaky that way. The ego has more fear of success than it does fear of failure.
Oh, wait, underline. Highlighter pen. Say that again.
Your ego would rather see you fail than succeed, but it won't admit it. But success means a whole new paradigm. Failure means, oh yeah, I know how to do victim.
But wait. I love that, Shri. We're talking about that. I think this is really, you guys know what I'm putting up. You know where I'm going, right? Here it is. I'm putting up the density trifecta, the self-sabotage. Remember, this is what you're talking about.
Right.
Right? That you are always there. You are always right in the background. And this is what you were just talking about.
Right. So the paradox of being an eternal being, having your earthly experience, is your soul, your essence. Spirit is always there, giving you life force energy and allowing you to have your experience. Now, that experience could be working through the lens of self-sabotage. It could be
There it is.
the
There it
fear
is.
and
There
the
it
doubt
is.
and all of that.
Right.
Or your experience could be one of teaching, healing, mentoring others, and lifting into the expanded joy of world service.
Ooh, how fun is that?
And it begins, everything we take steps along the way, don't we? We gain in our comfort and ability.
And Shri, I want to stop right there and put in like a little post-it note and ask you about this, because you're saying we take steps along the way.
Yes.
So, when we say we take steps along the way, I know that, right, immediately we all want to believe that means we're always walking in one direction. But it's really fabulous to be in this circular experience through the sacred sequence of incarnation, ascended numerology, right? If you don't know what we're talking about, just go to shrikira.com. So as we are in this moment of circular experience, sometimes those steps are going backwards.
Yes.
Sometimes those steps are an escalator and we're just hanging out going, well, this is fabulous. Sometimes the steps are linear. Sometimes it's a labyrinth that we don't know our way out of. And sometimes it's the most beautiful pathway. The key is that you're never not taking steps. It's to be in the experience of the totality of the conscious awareness, experience, and choice that is consistently coming together in this moment now so that you take those steps.
Yeah.
So I really want to underline what Shri was sharing. Really
Yeah.
powerful, guys.
And it's important to call around you the spiritual community that
Yeah.
will reinforce, meaning be present to your expanded states and be loving with you when we're in those less expanded states.
And here's what's important to know. Can I say one thing and underscore that, Shri?
Yeah.
Because it's so important about that. And to make sure that when you detach from there, that what you experience only enriches you. To utilize the blessing of this community, right? We love being here with you every Sunday. This is like the highlight of our week too, is to be with you. This Monday, magic, and this Wednesday, get there,
Yeah.
right? But this is that moment, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is,
absolutely.
and people are sharing. We have so many beautiful.
There's a lot of hugs
texts
in this
coming
community. I just want to offer you one more little
Yeah.
thing to let
and
it kind
notice
of
how you feel.
recognize in your own discernment filter. Our journey in form begins with all this egoic governance, and the ego just softens enough that the soul comes forward, it softens a little more, and the ego begins to relax its need to control because it trusts the love of the soul. Now, okay, life experiences, right? Earth school. What is painful or fearful, or whatever word you want to add, what the ego perceives as tragedy is perhaps one of the opportunity for spiritual growth. You've all experienced this. Sometimes a crash and a pain create an opening for a spiritual gift. And my experience is almost 100% that way. When the ego is really freaking out, the spirit says, take a look at this, be this, touch this. And we gain something lasting and beneficial as a result of those crises.
Always.
So I'm not saying go look for crises. I'm saying relax through the crises and trust your spirit.
Ooh.
Trust your soul. It'll resolve more quickly, and you will gain the true spiritual power that comes from life experience.
The true spiritual power that comes from life experience. Now, I want you to breathe that in too, because that word experience is really important. Let us not ever let go of the knowing that we ascend through eternal spiral of awareness, experience, and choice. Those three energies consciously arisen from within, because until then, just as in density, we are unaware of what we cannot be aware of. You know, many, many years ago, in one of the many articles that were written about Shri and I when we were on everybody's magazine cover and doing that whole thing, one of the lines that was written about us was that, how can you prepare for what you cannot even possibly imagine? And the answer is to get outside of the density experience that is making you think this is all there is. You cannot prepare for what you cannot possibly allow yourself to remember. When everything that has ever risen within you, because you're only here because of that, and if you're lucky enough to have one of the rare copies of our book Atlantean Revelations, go look at the checklist, right? Go look at that checklist and get ready, guys. That book is getting ready for a huge re-release. Just keep posted there, because there's a lot happening there. But the reason I'm mentioning that is you've known. Right? You've known when Shri and I got together, right? I mean, wasn't one of the things you and I talked about all the time was how much we had in common, and the things that we had both felt, and the way that we were going
But
places.
the commonalities begin with the energetic fruits of the experience.
Right, the call. And
the
so
call,
you've
yes.
known, and whatever experience you've known, can you let go of whatever part of your mind is still trying to hold you back and reason your way through this? Remember that your mind is just a self-perpetuating experience of this moment. So when we become aware of the ascended presence that I am here, which means that we must sustain at minimum fifth dimensional conscious awareness. However, the fifth dimension has now become cluttered with a lot of egoic attainment. Yeah. Remember that due to the way that the fourth dimension has collapsed upon the third, the fifth dimensional became more accessible because it became less, it became more permeable. And that's a good thing. However, what that facilitated as well was the rapid ignition of those who have been holding and sustaining consciousness to be able to have a greater being amount of us in the seventh dimensional presence. And I want to remind you, we have that here, don't we, Shri? I was pretty sure I saw it. There it is. I want to remind you what I'm talking about. Because right now, this week in April, as this Mercury retrograde pre-phase begins, and we are already in it, how many of you this past week had to redo like everything? I think Shri and I had to redo almost
Oh, a
everything.
lot of
I
technical
mean,
stuff.
literally almost everything, including appointments, and I mean, just crazy. And all for the better, all for the better. Because look at this. What you're staring at right here is the ninth dimensional anchoring. You see those pyramids and those geometries that are rising up, and look at the seventh dimensional witnessing. You see between the two what look like wings there, it's like you're literally creating with the creation itself. You see the wings are like, imagine them, they're like bellows, and you have these beautiful, not only the big creation emanating out of the heart center, you have the creation itself that these wings are molding. And on either side of that, this embrace. And that embrace is coming in from the entire universe because, and I will share with you, it's not always kind, because everyone whose sacred sequence of incarnation was brought into this moment did so knowing that you would be, many of you would be ignited prior to the time in this experience of potentiality that would have been the kindest. It means that that's why here's the gamble, right? Here's the universal gamble when we do this, because we have done this before, all of us, right? When we come to these moments where consciousness is expanding beyond where it has ever gone before, and we're here now with every breath. This is all like, okay, here we are, let's do this. So in our dream of dreams, we all just got our dream of dreams, right? We've now taken consciousness and this experiment of this way of being beyond where it's ever been. So in doing that right now, first just allowing yourself to be there. The fifth dimension, as Archangel Zadkiel has said so beautifully, is nothing more than a waiting room. It's a self-imposed waiting room where you're basically hanging out going, wow, that was something.
It's a zone of clarity.
Right? Wow, that was something. So Zadkiel says, think of it as a big waiting room. But here's the key. Only you can realize it's a waiting room. It is that next experience of conscious awareness that can only come when the ego surrenders into the smile of transcendent awareness that I am here, as the sea of neutrality. That's when we lift to that seventh dimension where we are able to start weaving as the law of instantaneous manifestation. So why is all of this important? Because that portal opened with that heart moon. Let's not forget, Shri, let's go back and remind them because I think it's important. Let us not forget, I think that's it. There it is. Let us not forget where we are right now. We are all navigating the sea of neutrality.
To navigate
floating.
Yes. And the sea of neutrality is like a blessing that is opened up for consciousness and experience that will allow us to be at peace, to allow us to manifest that which is of the highest. And it took a little boost for us to get there. We take a look at the beautiful triangles here. That is, you look at the February experience down on the lower left on your screen. And that was about the acceptance of this energy. That was about the beginning of this expansion. And we moved into the March equinox, the expansion of consciousness. And then we just recently experienced the April full heart moon.
Right. And remember, this was all about all of those full moons.
Yes.
And opening up that, what you're seeing here right now is that we are all living in this energy of the pyramid floating on the sea of neutrality. So what we fill this with, and notice that you've got the self-ascended chakra portrait. That is the first thing you want to hold as you're filling, because that is the only way you can sustain your ascended presence. And that is the Wednesday energy that has been guiding and pulling us, because right there in the middle is going to be June. And this is why we must go to Mexico. You know, we believe me, we didn't want to just say, okay, we're going to Mexico in June. This is one of those you've got to go moments.
You know, one of the things I want to call your attention to on this beautiful graphic are the key communications: energy, momentum, and co-creative power. Energy, momentum, co-creative power. We are embraced in this flow should we choose to anchor there.
So consider that. And let's go back to what's right up at the top, because this is that consciousness talking to all of humanity. The entire year is about, can humanity survive dogma? So I want you to breathe that in. Can humanity survive dogma? Because Ishri and I were just having another powerful conversation about this morning. The power of the dogma goes into, you need to hear it, goes into everything.
Mhm.
It goes into everything. Shri and I were having a conversation about the beliefs in contracts, in soul contracts and soul agreements. You do need to remember that that is a whole series of books we need to be writing as well, because that in and of itself is born of a consciousness that is radiating through a vessel that was at a specific evolution of receptivity of the vibration of consciousness. For us all to self-limit into that which has been is to literally invite the repetition of that again. And we are,
repetition.
right? And I just want to say before you jump in, because this week is that conscious moment.
Yeah.
This week in April is the challenge of, can you take yourself further than you've ever gone? Can you remember that if you've ever imagined it, it's because you've already done it, you've already been it. Can you imagine a world where with every breath we only see, know, and experience the highest of each? Because that's what our daily life experience is here at Tosa Blue Mountain, literally. And that's why so much magic happens. But Shri, before you talk about where you were going, I want to tie this back into why we have to go to Mexico.
Okay.
All right, because I'm gonna put up the slide, because this is really important, guys. We are almost, well, we're actually a little over halfway. We've got maybe 6 left available, but this is an ignition journey for humanity. And you'll see Chichen Itza right there. And ironically, remember, it was Chichen Itza that was, quote, incorrectly put on our book, Mayan Sunrise, 2013 Mayan Sunrise.
Yeah, it's on the cover of our book. And now all of these lands of the ancient Maya are indeed sacred. And Merida, well, we're going to be at Chichen Itza. We're going to be igniting the energy that comes forward at the solstice through several sacred sites.
And here's why. Here's why this is just so darn important. And forgive me, but you really need to know. We're floating, right? Remember, we're all on the sea of neutrality floating right now. Tomorrow, on the 25th, right? Tomorrow's the 25th, right? So tomorrow on the 25th, that the only word, I was going to use the word humongous, but I thought it might be too tongue-in-cheek. So that massive Mercury retrograde pre-phase, there has never been a pre-phase more important than this one, because this is complete resurrection, redo, reconnect, reunite. It's every dream that never manifested because you weren't in the potentiality or at the moment of intersection what we're supposed to, but you are here now. Right now. And so in this moment, right now, number one, right? Feel the week pulling you. This week is already in momentum, right? And this Wednesday, and this is why our beloved, and I'm so grateful that Brother Chief Phil will be with us on Wednesday as well, so that we may integrate the call of the unification of the indigenous with the unification of the universe, to truly activate all of the indigenous prophecies and to initiate a 4-month walk that we will be talking to you about Wednesday night as well. All of these are surprises because it must be the culminating Wednesday. If you've been with us all April, you know how big these Wednesdays have been.
Yes.
This is the culmination. And when we jump on Wednesday, it's like that pyramid that's floating on the sea of neutrality. Let me show that to you again really quickly so I'm not sitting here looking all funny. Nope, wrong one. Shri, where was? Oh, is it this one? Yes. So as we are right now, you see that April full heart moon? So that was the 16th, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. This week is what's going to propel that rudder. It's like right now, everything's still back. February, shooting up the energy, making it going. It was a hard road. Then we had that Jupiter ignition. Then we got to March, and then there was that explosion of consciousness that shot us through so that we're here. And this is the week that it anchors and begins the spin. And that spin must sustain us until we get to the center. Because you see the chakras that are there? It's the middle of the first and second chakra. Now, why is that so important? Because that is the June equinox. Because humanity is still not restored to balance. And when we begin May 1,
Yes.
after this week, like I'm losing my breath again, guys, every time I talk about this. This is why June is so important. The minute we hit May 1, and you want to be with us next Sunday on the show, when we show you it's going to blow your mind. The minute we hit May 1, it's a whole new world. I mean, the world will never look the same. This week, and everything that has come before it in 2022 has created this moment where we have the capacity to surf the sea of neutrality as long as we don't get a flat tire before May 1. And I am serious. That is why Wednesday the 27th is a seal. It brings all the work we've done, the potentiality stabilization, all of the mastery presence, everyone you know. Let them come and hear the blessing of Chief Phil, who is carrying the indigenous. Let them hear the wisdom of Shri and his consciousness expansion and learn more. Give yourself the gift of saying yes to your dreams. So that's why this week is so important, so that we can actually get to Mexico in June, where we must bring the unified staffs. There are going to be many of us there. Cesar will finally empower and rise and take his rightful place as the head of the Itzamayan. Those of you that know this is a sacred call, we will be in Chichen Itza, Mayapan, our property at Lowell Bay, and then culminating. This is all I can say is this is Uxmal as well. This is big.
Yeah, it's a powerful moment, a lot of up-level energy. And one of the things that was kind of bubbling in my awareness that I wanted to share is that your ignition, your up-level energy isn't something you can sit on the couch and say, hit me.
Yeah.
I used to say ascension doesn't happen to you, it happens through you.
Ooh, underline marker.
So this is the key: choice and your steadfast commitment, your focused awareness, and your complete trust in the divine as you work with these energies and you let them work through you rather than wait for the magic wand moment. Now, humanity, there's two things going on here. You are here because you are ignited, because you are recognizing truth, because there's something stirring inside. You go, yes. And there's a lot of folks that are well into the dogma, and they will have their experience. And therein is the juxtaposition.
Right?
Mass consciousness is never at the forefront of the expansion. So
It
don't
can't
expect
be.
it to be different.
And it can't be. Remember, in the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening, right? We'll just do a really quick reminder, right? Really important to remember. In the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening, density consciousness, every being is born into it, and it's the biggest strata, right?
Yes.
So let's remember that, and that you can't even touch the higher energies of ascension awareness until you, the self, arrive into the I am here to thereby really surf awareness, experience, choice as your conscious ascension.
So the potency of this moment is not measured by a head count, it's
No.
measured by a frequency. As we anchor in
Oh,
the
I love
highest potential of who we are, we radiate that frequency out, which will send a coherent wave all around the planet. And those that are ready, listening, will be activated too.
Now imagine, I want to, as you're sharing that, Sri, about activation, Sri's got me all inspired, and then we're going to read some of your amazing quotes. But
Yeah.
imagine that you were on the planet, this planet, in this potentiality right now. So come on a little day journey with me.
Okay.
And it's year, what we've agreed, right? Isn't he so cute? And it's year zero. Year zero. So what does that mean? Well, that means we've delineated according to a certain consciousness that would have been available at that time. Imagine how many beings were being activated as these texts were coming together, as the ones from everything pre-zero were kind of finding their way, and as the ones that were just coming in, and that in something as little as just a couple hundred years, the Council of Nicaea, this wonderful group of only men, is going to come together and decide what we should or should not believe. And then scroll forward, scroll forward, scroll forward, scroll forward. We are here right now. Okay, so here we are right now. Let me ask you something. Why is that still okay to be true? And why is it okay for our consciousness to have not expanded beyond it? And I mean this with all sincerity, I really do, because I think it's the biggest smile on the planet. How awesome is it that we're getting to watch it go backwards? We're literally at a moment where we are so evolved in our consciousness that we are broadcasting the devolution.
Yes.
Now, this is not from a sense of judgment. This is from a sense of wonder and awe at how incredibly amazing we are. Because the transcendent I am here sees everything. Because in order for the transcendent I am here as the sea of neutrality to see anything in density, it must be through the energy of the transcendence of that energy. Thereby the lower chakras are stable, right? So to witness that is the inspiration of the passionate action that responds to that. I want you to breathe that in. I'm going to say it again. To witness that is to ignite, call forward the passionate action that can respond to that. Respond. Or in the realms of density, and this does exist rampantly, especially in those energies of the fifth, where people are first waking up to the fifth, and it's very egocentric. And so there's a lot of that happening where it is engaged rather than witnessed, and it invites a devolutionary process that is comfortable and familiar to a body of form that is, of course, terrified of you becoming more awake to that awareness of your ascended being. And here's the gift. When we finally jump, guys, when we finally jump, when you take the risk to just be yourself, like Sri and I have, you will have your moments of, oh my God, what have I just said or done? And then you'll have your moments of, oh my God, look what I just said and look what I just did, right? And then you evolve to, what in me invited this to be, into every interaction. So as you invite yourself into this moment of what in me invited this to be, I want you to know it's because you're supposed to be there Wednesday night. Because Wednesday, April 27 matters. And I don't know what it's going to take to get anybody's attention outside of this amazing community. I don't know what it's going to take to get the voice of consciousness really out there. But what my heart knows is that if you're there, that's all we're going to need. So just be there and let everybody you know be there too. It's a gift. And Chief Phil is going to be there. The tribes are unifying. So Sri, speaking of tribes unifying, how's our tribe doing?
Well, there's lots of lovely love notes here and recognitions and sparkles. I was
We
looking
love
at the chat a little
you.
bit. And oh my goodness.
Well, let's just share you with you. We love you so much. And if you wanted to be sharing with us, if you're catching us live on the air every Sunday at noon Eastern time, just join us at YouTube, official Sri and Kira, and make sure you've subscribed. I hope. Need to click that right now, and then you can join us live, and we communicate with you via Jess, who's in there with you guys right now. So
Well,
let's hear.
here's a couple of nuggets.
Nuggets.
Nuggets, little jewels. So Bhatia writes, my heart has never been so joyful. It's time to share this beauty, the love we need to make this the new norm.
We are, right?
Yes, yes.
What if we are the mainstream? Just try that one on, because all we've done is let others try to tell us why we're not.
You know, and Lars adds a nice little, here's a good bumper sticker.
I love it.
From victim to victory.
Oh my God, Lars, we love you.
Perfect.
You rock. Yeah. All right.
And Baldeve continues on. My steps are spiral, not linear. A wonderful, amazing realization, and means the backward steps are less common anymore. Thanks to Sri and Kira especially, and the great beloved's endless support. Yes, aho.
Aho, mi amor.
And Amara shares, community
Ama.
is a facet of the trinity of divine presence.
Is it not?
And then here's another celebration. Bhatia shares, what I thought was a retraction has become my greatest propulsion.
Exactly. And you know, I want to just do footnote, Bhatia, and thank you for bringing that up. Remember, those of you that were with us at Monday Magic, we went through the series that was talking about, and for many, there will be the time when going backwards will feel as if it is going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And where going forward will at first feel as if it is not. So yes, girlfriend, right on.
And this is echoed by Veronica, who shares, I am grateful for my steps backwards as they propelled me to the now.
You know it, girl. You know it, girl. And Kate, I just want to read, we just went right by Kate, honey. Right there. Crisis road becomes the gifted path every time.
Sweet,
every time.
Sweet.
We are writing the book of what's gone on since the 20 years. Go ahead.
You know, I just want to pause for a second.
And I'm going to keep enjoying you guys to get ready. Go ahead.
One of the reasons that our hearts are so huge around the indigenous peoples of this planet is that they have carried for thousands of years the legacy, their lineage holders, they're carrying the legacy of the authentic balance, the harmony of Gaia with the human. And George Orwell is known for a number of prophetic comments, and one of them that he shared was basically, he who controls history controls the future. Now, what is meant by that is when we erase the history of a people,
especially their cultural ethnicity,
we are eliminating the gifts that they have brought forward and not being able to share those, because we have wiped out their efficacy, their power, and the vitality of the culture.
This is really important.
And this is something that struck me. It was only this morning I went, well, wait a minute. There, you know, that man George Orwell had a lot of prophetic things that were shared for this time.
Really inspired. If you really go back and get a lot of that, you really do.
Yeah, and I remember I was only 10 years old or something when I read the book Animal Farm, and
remember that one?
And when I first read it, I thought it was just like a fairy tale about animals.
Oh, I was terrified.
And then my older brother said, don't you get it? And he began to say some of the things, and then I went back and looked at it, and it was like, oh.
No, I read it. I was terrified.
But the phrase that's coming forward from Animal Farm right now is that some animals are more equal than others.
Yeah.
And so these are the little precautionary bits of the density consciousness group. And it ties also to the Lost Books of the Essene, such profound gifts of wisdom in there. And
especially the up-leveled.
One of the gifts in the chapters from the Lost Books was the opportunity for repetition that comes from the belief in dogmatic systems, dogmatic beliefs, which will trigger a cycle of repetition. Now, every repetitive cycle has a gift because it can be a springboard for a recognition, for the advancement of the soul. However, it also comes with a constriction.
Right. You know, Sri, when you talk about constriction, I think about our book, 2012 Atlantean Revelations, where we had a whole chapter in there on sincerity and frustration. And it brings me to one of the comments that was here as well. And it was from Ava. Hi, sweetheart. And she says, Atlantean Revelations, the official title of the book is actually 2012 Atlantean Revelations. You might find one in a used bookstore. It was the only book we ever did in hardcover because it was that important to last. Atlantean Revelations is worth a re-release. Thank you, Eva. We agree. So different now after 2012 and living through COVID.
Uh-huh.
Divine blessings to all. Love to Shri, Kira, and Soul family. Thank you, Ava. And we agree because that, I've said for years, the mistake that we made was putting 2012 in the title. And there's more. There's more about Sularia that needs to be shared now.
We have
There's
more to share.
We have a lot more to share because humanity is repeating. We are actually at more moments. And I think, let me do the reveal about my tats then. Huh?
Okay.
So, all right.
As you-
I kind of slipped it, didn't I?
I don't know.
Uh-oh, bad Kira.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
Okay, guys. So, all right. As you know, I rarely ever wear long sleeves anymore. And the reason I have long sleeves on right now is because this past week, and if you go back and listen to the shows, we don't repeat, but everything that Shri and I share with you, we're living. All the things that we offer you every week when we come to you live, we're not saying here's what you should know. We're like, this is what's going on. This is literally unfolding here. And I had a very profound vision right before we were invited to go up into the mountains and see one of the most tragic situations I've ever seen in my life. This single woman and her son living in hell and in a house that had literally just fallen, and the neighbors had patched together, and on a bad night they let her sleep in the barn.
A lot of cardboard stapled up to be the wall.
If you haven't been to ShriandKira.com, please go see our indigenous support programs. Every time we build a house, another one comes in, and we are able to now build. We're now in our second house. We're going to start construction soon on the one. We have the Mingas coming together. It seems like the universe wants us to help people have homes, so we're very grateful for that. And there's more. So please keep helping, because for everyone that we help, there's more coming forward. And it was right before we got that invitation that I had this profound vision that I shared with Shri. And part of the vision was that my entire length of my arms, from, I kid you not, from here to here, and literally with the exception of where I wear my jewelry that I always need when I'm especially out in public or working with others. But there were these tattoos, and I saw the tattoos, and I was very clear on what they were. And then I saw what looked like EKG what do they call those? The heart attack paddles?
Yeah, those the electricity
Right.
transducers.
And for 1 second, I was in what looked like a stadium, and there were so many beautiful people there, and we were all covered in golden light. So I knew that this had to happen on Earth Day, because this is a body of the earth. And so on April 22nd, this past Friday, as we were all in such deep honoring and just thank you for the wonderful e-card that you sent out, my arms currently hurt because I knew I had to have these tattoos, and I knew they had to be healed and ready to activate when we get together on the 27th. And so I will be revealing them for the first time on the 27th, because they are part of the activation, and their first appearance to all of you is an activation. And I'm doing this right now. I'm going to stand for a second. Is that okay, guys? And then we're going to read more of your comments as well. But I really want, even without the tattoos here, for you to see today. Let me go back enough where I think right here.
Yeah, you want me to move?
No, I can move my chair more over here. Sorry, guys. We have a little studio. One day it won't be so little. Okay, so you ready? So just there we are. So I want you to just, there we are. I'm going to stand in the middle of the portal. That's even better. Okay. So let's just take in a breath right now. And so literally from here all the way down to here. You'll see some arm, but I'm inviting you to feel what's happening on the planet. You feel this radiance, you feel this, you feel what's happening. This is our moment. We are here outside of linear time, and we are not crazy. No matter what anyone tries to tell you, remember this. As Archangel Zadkiel said so beautifully to Sri Ramka so many years ago, and if you read our book, Sacred Union, The Journey Home, you'll hear it for the first time when Sri asked. But he asked Archangel Zadkiel, how do I know this is real? How do I know that this woman isn't insane? Because let's not forget, my husband is a psychotherapist with 20 some odd degrees. And so Zadkiel said, because you will feel it in your heart, and it will always leave you uplifted, and it will never invite you to hurt another. And to remember that if there is one sin, it is to interfere with the path of another, or to allow another to interfere with your path. And so we are at a moment where on Earth Day, I literally gave my body, and I have to admit a little pain right now, but it's okay, because the entire time I was so aware that it is a moment where I'm really grateful that Shri and I are living a life of, I'm so glad we said yes, instead of I wish I would have. And that when May 1 is here, we are all in a brand new life. How we experience that life is still our choice.
Yeah.
And Shri, I don't want to preempt our beautiful people, but I'm feeling you so much, and thank you for receiving this moment.
Well, let's take a minute here and see
And we have some
what else
time
to
to
celebrate.
check in with all of you and answer some questions. The one question I do want to answer was from Baldevi. Can you read that?
Yeah, she writes, I have a question. I know Kira is busy, very, and but is she open to another Bhagavad Gita class?
Yes.
Maybe an advanced
Oh,
one,
God.
or even a new live class on the Gita. I think we all need that soon.
You know what, Baldevi? Can you champion that, honey? Because here's the deal. You're reading my mind. I, honest to God, have had that all around me. Like, I want so much to teach, and a Gita class. And what I was thinking was maybe we teach a new one and people get the one I already taught for free, like as a gift to get them primed if they want to. And then we can make it more of like an expansion of that. And I'd love to do it live. So if you would champion that, meaning I will show up for it, but I can't, I don't have the bandwidth to do more than that. So I'm going to give that one back to you and the Divine Lord Krishna. And thank you for asking.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just on the topic. There's so much to share.
Yes.
And
Monday magic.
Monday Magic is rich with sharings and discernments and wisdom. And each and every time we get together, there is a dynamic that occurs that brings forward the nourishment, the spiritual
Right?
nourishment, the guidance, the inspiration, the stimulation. And this is a sacred moment. Each of you is a sacred flame. And together we illuminate the world.
Yeah, we really do, don't we? And so, my angels, let's have some more beautiful sharing. So we have Patricia writing, each day is a new experience of self-awareness. We are always divinely supported and guided as we can be aware of our divine guidance. Absolutely, absolutely true. Thank you so much. We are so grateful. And I want to say that I love so many different things that have been here today, so many things that you have said that have become the gift.
Well, I caught one other one as we were scrolling by the comments, and Baldevi shared, miracles are the new normal.
Always have been. Let's just remember that the new normal is you.
That's it. That's it. Because through our sincerity, through the active love, and through the presence, flow occurs. Quantum flow is the basis of everything. And when we align with that quantum field, magnificence just appears. It happens.
Right?
The recognition happens. It's our minds. I had a funny little realization. I have to admit, sometimes I multitask. I have other thoughts going on. But you know how in every dystopian sci-fi movie where the computer went wild, the artificial intelligence went wild?
Thanks, Hal.
It's like, do you realize all they're doing is giving you a movie rendering of what your mind could do?
Mm-hmm.
Your mind disconnected from your heart, disconnected from your spiritual wisdom. If you just take the brainiac piece of it, it can become the most harsh, determinant, because it's disconnected. It only knows how to create and play games with that. When we anchor in the heart and we open to our guidance, the mind becomes a tool,
right,
for the expansion and the healthy activities in the world of form.
I love it.
So, beloveds, let's practice breathing in to the I am here.
And what a great way to close. So remember, we're going to close with this. You're going to be there Wednesday night. ShriandKira.com right now.
Click there,
Send it
register,
to 10
get
people.
the
Get
link.
it done. Meet Chief Phil. This is a big night.
Yeah.
Shri, let's close with that, with your
All
beautiful
right.
sharing.
Let's take a breath together. I am here.
And so it is.
Be in that beauty, my beloveds.
We love you.
See you soon.